prize, so that means staying past the Q&A. And our customary grand prize is a gift basket that includes a bunch of goodies and a book. And this time it is a signed book by Michael Shermer. So put your ticket in that drawing. I'm extending this welcome today on behalf of the organizing committee. We are all volunteers, and I need to acknowledge a number of people and groups who have made this day possible. There are many individuals who have given time and energy to the event, and in the interest of time, I am not calling out individual names, don't worry. But I do want to let you know that these folks have really helped to organize and put it on, and they are listed on the back of your program. But I've got to mention my co-chair, wherever she is, Brenda Silva, who happened to chair the very first, there she is in the back, hello Brenda. She chaired the very first Darwin Day event, and we're on the 12th, so she's still rolling along here. And we have been aided in advance in planning by so many people for refreshments, for ticketing, for advertising, and then there are people who just helped us to set up today, and you're going to help clean up too. I would ask any of those who are helpers to just stand up all at once, and let's have a big round of applause for the workers. So stand up, workers. Co-sponsors, along with an assortment of community and nonprofit organizations to whom we are grateful. We simply could not put on this event without our co-sponsors. So they are some academic departments and also the community organizations. So with that, Liam, I've got to thank you. Take it away. Thanks, everybody.
I just have to say, from just my own observations, I wasn't at the very, very first Darwin Day, but I've watched them change over time, and they've gotten bigger and more elaborate, and more people show up. This year is the biggest I've ever seen. I understand Mynga has been talking with Richard Branson, so I fully expect next year's one will be in space. So, on that note, our main speaker of the main event, of course, is Dr. Michael Shermer. I want to say a few things about him. He is the founder of the Skeptic Society and publisher, as well as editor-in-chief of Skeptic Magazine, which has been around for over 15 years, so I guess he's a founding publisher. He roared into the skeptical field with his legendary book, Why People Believe Weird Things. He has written or edited 15 books, although that number may go up by the time I finish this introduction, as he's working on his iPhone furiously right now, from topics ranging from cycling to economics and evolutionary biology, or Eco-Evo-Bio. Sorry, it's an in-joke for you biologists. I'm proud and honored to have known Michael for 10 years and have worked with him and the staff at Skeptic Magazine for almost as long, and I am very pleased that he's come to our Darwin Day this year, particularly as he's written extensively about Alfred Russel Wallace, you know, the other guy, the co-discoverer of natural selection along with Darwin. So I want to mention again and remind you that after the talk and the Q&A, Michael will be signing books because he's just that gracious. And today on this celebration of Darwin's 200th birthday, he will come and talk to us today about why Darwin matters, so I would love for you to give an appropriate welcome to Dr. Michael Shermer.
Shucks, thanks. Yeah, thanks to Liam. Liam's been working with us. He's one of those people that wrote me in the early years and said, you know, there's a lot of typos in your magazine. I said, well, good, then you can read them every time before we send it out. So I actually now have like half a dozen really top-notch proofreaders that's what you get for complaining. You get put to work, basically. If you two gentlemen could do me a favor and grab these clipboards here. You take one and hand it out. Just hand it down that way. These are the sign-up sheets for eSkeptic. It's the free electronic version of Skeptic Magazine. We publish something every week, an article, an essay, a commentary, a review, a film review, an op-ed piece, whatever, just announcements, and it's free. You can sign on, sign off anytime you like. It's the electronic version of this Skeptic Magazine. Most of you know we investigate claims of the paranormal, pseudoscience, fringe groups, and cults of claims of all kinds between good science, junk science, bad science, voodoo science, pathological science, non-science, and plain old nonsense. And unless you've been on Mars, abducted by aliens, and been on Mars for the last few decades, you know there's a lot of it out there. Nonsense, that is. We're sort of the Ralph Naders of bad ideas. Consumer advocates for good ideas. And every issue of Skeptic has a particular theme to it. Like this one is on 9/11. Was 9/11 a conspiracy? Well, yes, as a matter of fact, it was. 19 members of Al-Qaeda plotting to fly planes into buildings by definition constitutes a conspiracy. But of course, that's not what the so-called 9/11 truthers think. They think that 9/11 was an inside job by the Bush administration, who orchestrated it all, Rove and Cheney and everybody behind the scenes. And anyway, that's a different topic. I won't lecture on that today, but you know how we know that the Bush administration did not orchestrate 9/11? Because it worked. So, Rhonda and Mynga, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate that. Mynga, of course, as you know, created the concept with her partner, Brights, as a cheerier word than atheist, agnostic, non-theist, whatever, non-believers, whatever the words are that we choose to use. And Brian, very funny. I hope we can get you for our Caltech conference next year. That's I know you have so many gigs because there's so many comedians out there doing science. I think we can get you on that. It really is good stuff. And of course, Theory of Evolution, that was a lot of fun. So maybe there'll be a sing-along later or something like that. I had something kind of funny too happen to me a couple of days ago. I was in Shrewsbury, England for Darwin's birthday. Darwin was born in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, England. And so I was there to see his birthplace. His dad's house is still there. And the grammar school where he went is there, and the Unitarian church where he went to church is still there. It was a Unitarian church. There's a big plaque outside that says it's this ecumenical, diverse church based on all sorts of beliefs. So that was kind of cool. And I had a few hours on my time before I was to give my talk, and so I just went out for a little walkabout. And I had my suit on here, and a really weird thing happened. And this requires just a little bit of background information. I was wearing this coat, and I was wearing this coat. I always wear this coat. It's my Skeptic's uniform. It's black. And at the last TAM, the amazing meeting, the Amazing Randy's meeting in Las Vegas, and as those of you know, Penn and Teller are a part of this, so all of us every year trek down to see their show. And at the end of the show, they do this amazing double bullet catch where they fire 357 magnums across the stage, and whatever it is they're doing, we know they're not actually catching bullets fired from a gun in their teeth, but it sure looks like they are. And they have volunteers from the audience come up and sign the bullet and sign the casing so that you can see afterwards that the casing is still in the gun and the bullet has now crossed and it's in the other guy's mouth. Anyway, that's how the trick works. I haven't any idea how they do it other than really well. And anyway, so I got to be a volunteer to go up and sign one of the bullets. So I went up and I signed my bullet, and I put my little initials on the casing and the little happy face on the shell, or vice versa, whatever it was. And then afterwards, I got to keep the bullet, and I put the bullet in my breast pocket. And then, so when I went out for this walkabout the other day, I came out of the hotel in Shrewsbury there, and I heard this noise. This is in a hotel. I heard this noise. I looked up, and there was a crazed evangelist, and he heaved a Gideon's Bible out the window. And it came straight at me, and I ducked, and the Bible hit me right in the chest. And that Bible would have gone right through my heart if it weren't for that bullet. You see, Brian, us non-comedians can make stuff up too. Yes, it's just an exaggerated story. Okay, anyway. Partially stolen from Woody Allen. I'm here to lecture today on Why Darwin Matters. This is my first book, I should note parenthetically, with full frontal nudity on the cover. In America, no less. Now that's pretty cool. I did go, I'll be writing about this next week's E-Skeptic. I went to the Noah's Ark Zoo Farm in